Hello friends. The big question that we want to tackle today is, can the ancient wisdom make you a better leader in 2026? In this video we dive deep into Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 8 to uncover the secret of equanimity for modern executives, which is very essential. We will discover why the most successful CEOs aren't just masters of the market, they are the master of their own mind. Let us explore this further.
In the world of high-stake business, we are taught to chase the gold. We celebrate the record-breaking IPOs, the quarterly wins, and the market dominance. On the flip side, we are taught to fear the mud, the PR crisis, the missed targets, and the economic downturns. But as a CEO, and all CEO knows this constant oscillation between euphoria and anxiety is quite exhausting. It leads to burnout, biased decision making, and the leadership style that is reactive rather than strategic. What if there is a way to lead from the place of total stability, a state of mind where your internal peace isn't tied to the stock ticker? Over 7,000 years ago, a profound piece of wisdom was shared on a battlefield that is more relevant to the modern boardroom than any MBA syllabus. It comes from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 8. Today we are going to dive deep and break down how this one verse can transform you into an unshakable CEO. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let us look at the verse itself. The quote starts, "A person is said to be established in self-realization, and it's called a yogi when he is fully satisfied by the virtue of the acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it is pebbles, stone, or gold, as one and the same thing." Quote close. For a CEO, this doesn't mean you stop caring about your company. It means you change your relationship with the results. The verse identifies three key areas, three key traits of the unshakable leaders. First, acquired knowledge combined with practical experience. Obviously, you can't shake that off. Number two, control over the senses, which includes your ego as well, and also different kinds of extensions that you may have. Number three, ability to see stones and mud and gold with an equal eye, right? That is quite difficult. Now let's get real about the gold and mud. Just look at your office. The gold is that massive Series C funding or being featured on the cover of Forbes magazine. When things are gold, your ego expands. We think we have figured it out, all of it. We become overconfident, take reckless risk, and lose the humility that built the company in the first place. The mud is the supply chain collapse, the key executive quitting, or the negative cycle, some sort of a press release which is negative in nature. When we hit the mud, we panic. We make short-term decisions based on fear, which often makes the situation worse. The Gita tells us that the self-realized leader sees these as equal. Why? Because they are both external and temporary. If your happiness is tied to the gold, you are a slave to the market. If your identity is destroyed by the mud, you aren't leading. You are merely reacting. The unshakable CEO realizes that the value of the soul and the integrity of the mission do not change based on the material outcome of the day. How do we actually implement this? It comes down to three pillars. Pillar number one, knowledge versus realization. Most CEOs have the gyan, which is book knowledge. They know the spreadsheet, but the Gita tells you to get into realized wisdom. This is the gut feeling backed by a calm mind. It is knowing that this too shall pass, right? So, what action you can take? When the crisis hit, don't just look at the data, sit in silence for 5 minutes to separate your identity from the problem. Alright, moving on to the pillar number 2, sensory mastery. In modern terms, this is the emotional intelligence. Your senses react to notification, angry emails, and market rumors. A leader, who has a filter, they can choose which input to react to. They don't let a bad morning meeting ruin $1 billion afternoon strategy, right? You need to keep them separate. Moving on to pillar number 3, the equal vision. This is the hardest part. Seeing gold and stones as equal doesn't mean you trade gold for stones. It means you don't let the gold intoxicate you and you don't let the stones depress you. You remain your behavior is very steadfast like a rock, the unchanging center of the storm. When you become unshakable, your decisions making capability improves. In fact, it improves so good it becomes clinical in nature. Think of a surgeon. A surgeon cannot afford to be excited by the patient's wealth or disgusted by their wounds. They must see their anatomy as it is to perform the operation. The unshakable CEO performs market surgery because you aren't desperate for the gold or terrified of the mud. You see the truth of the situation. You see opportunities where others see disaster. You see risk where others see easy wins. This objectivity is the highest form of business intelligence. Becoming an unshakable CEO isn't the weekend workshop. It's a daily practice of returning to your center. So friends, next time when you are in a high pressure meeting or the next time you are in celebrating some sort of a win, a massive win, remember chapter 6 verse 8. Ask yourself, am I reacting to the gold or am I standing on the rock? Success is a byproduct of the steady mind. Build the mind and the business will follow. If this ancient perspective on the modern leadership resonate with you, hit the subscribe button, share this with your fellow leaders who need to find their center today. Lead with wisdom, lead with peace, become an unshakable CEO. So we have come to the end of our session today. Before I move on to the next section, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, welcome to Akulmach Live. The global economy is at the crossroads. In this video, we break down why the next 72 hours are the most critical window for 2026 for investors, for business leaders, and also for the policymakers. With the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East and the recent IMF World Economic Outlook warning of a drop in the global growth rate to 3.1%, and therefore the stakes has never been so high. So what we got to do, what we should be aware of, stick around because we are going to discuss all of this.
Right now, as you're watching this, a timer is ticking. It isn't just a countdown for a market opening or a single earning report. We're entering a 72-hour window that historians may look back on as the definitive pivot point for the global economy in 2026. So why now? Because we are seeing a perfect storm and it is converging. We have a volatile conflict in the Middle East that is threatening the world's most vital energy arteries. We have an IMF that just sounded the alarm on the growth slowdown, and within the next 3 days, we expect the decisions that will determine if we face a controlled landing or a systemic fracture. By the time this 72-hour window closes, the cost of your energy, value of your currency, and the safety of your investment could look radically different. And here is exactly what is happening behind the scenes. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's move ahead. The first pillar of this 72-hour crisis is the energy. As of today, which is April 22nd, 2026, the volatility in the Middle East has moved past rhetoric. Markets are currently pricing in a worst case disruption scenario. If the next 3 days sees an escalation that impact the Strait of Hormuz, we aren't just looking at $100 per barrel oil. We are looking at the supply side shock that could paralyze the European and Asian manufacturing. But it's not just about pricing at the pump. It's about the inflation ghost. Just as the central bank thought they had a handle on the rising price, the energy spike threatened to send the projected 2026 inflation rate of 4.4% or even higher. In this next 72 hours, look for the energy pivot. If the prices break past key resistance level, the global manufacturing sector will go into a defensive mode, and that means layoff and stalled growth. While the headline focus on the conflict, the underlying math is equally terrifying. Last week, the IMF released the World Economic Outlook. The headline was grim. The global growth is projected to fall to 3.1%. Imagine, only 3.1%. But the real story is in the next 72 hours of the diplomatic response. Financial leaders are currently meeting to decide if they will coordinate a liquidity injection or if it's if every nation for itself. We are seeing a massive divergence. While some economies are showing resilience, others, particularly in the developing world, are facing a debt wall. If we don't see a collaborative signal from the G7 or the IMF in these 3-day window, we could see a flight to quality that strip emerging markets of their remaining capital. This is the great repricing of 2026, and it is happening in real time as we speak. When the world gets scared, money moves fast. In the next 72 hours, we are watching the 3 safe havens, which is gold, US dollars, and increasingly digital assets. Gold has already been hitting the record high, but the next 3 days will test its ceiling. If we see a breakout, it's a signal that the big institutional players have lost faith in a quick diplomatic resolution. Simultaneously, the US dollar is weaponizing itself again. As the dollar strengthens, it puts immense pressure on every other currency for businesses in London, Tokyo, or New Delhi. A 72-hour surge in the dollar market, makes their imports more expensive and their debt harder to pay. Watch the currency pairs closely. The tipping point is usually a 3-day trend that becomes month-long slide. So, what does this mean for people like you and me? The next 72 hours aren't about panic; they are about positioning. If you are an investor, watch the $100 oil per barrel mark and the 10-year treasury yield. If you are a business owner, look at your supply chain exposure in the Middle East. And if you are just watching your personal finances, understand that the low inflation era we hoped for is being challenged by these 72 hours of geopolitical reality. The world moves fast, but the economy moves in cycles. We are at the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We'll be monitoring every headline, every market tick, and every diplomatic cable as they come in. Make sure you subscribe in a window. This is very critical. Being 24-hour late is the same being absolutely wrong. So stay vigilant. The clock is running, and I'll see you in the next update, my friends. Before I wind up, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, the universe isn't just expanding, it is going somewhere. From the mysterious great attractor to the inevitable big freeze, where everything actually heading? That's a very big question that we want to address today. In this video, we trace the ultimate trajectory of every star, galaxy, and atom in existence. Have you ever wondered about the final destination of the cosmos while we go about our daily lives? Our Milky Way galaxy is screaming through space at 2.2 million kilometers per hour. But where it is going, what is pulling it? Let us discuss this further.
On a clear night, the universe looks like a photograph, frozen, eternal. But the truth is, we are living inside a cosmic stampede. Right now, you are sitting on a planet that is spinning at 1600 kilometers per hour. The planet is orbiting a star at 107,000 kilometers per hour. The star is dragging us around the center of the Milky Way at 800,000 kilometers per hour, but even the galaxy itself isn't sitting still. Our entire island universe is screaming through the void towards a destination we cannot see, and the overall speed at which we are moving right now is 2.2 million kilometers per hour. Everything, every star, every black hole, every atom is on a journey, but where is it actually going? Is there a finish line? Or is the universe just running away from itself? Today, we are tracing the ultimate trajectory of the cosmos from the great attractor to big freeze. We are looking at the final map of the existence itself. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand where we are going, we have to look at our neighborhood. We live in a Lanakia supercluster, a massive web of 100,000 galaxies spanning 500 million light years. For decades, the astronomer noticed something strange. The Milky Way and our neighboring galaxies aren't just drifting, they are being pulled. We are moving towards a specific region of space hidden behind the zone of avoidance, an area obscured by our own galaxy's dust, and therefore we actually cannot see clearly what is where we are going and what is pulling our galaxies. We call this mystery the great attractor. It's the gravitational anomaly so massive it is warping the movement of the galaxies across hundreds of millions of light years. It's like cosmic drain, and we are the water circling it. But here is the twist. We will likely never arrive at that point. Why? Because while gravity is trying to pull us together, something else is trying to rip us apart. In the late 1990s, we discovered the universe isn't just expanding, it is accelerating. This is thanks to the dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up roughly about 68% of the universe. Think of it like this. Gravity is the glue trying to hold the room together, but the dark energy is the floor constantly stretching in every direction. Because space is expanding faster than the speed of light at great distances, the great attractor is actually losing the tug of war. Eventually, the expansion will become so fast that even the pull of the Lanakia won't be enough to hold us into this particular group. We are entering an era of the great divorce. In few billion years, every galaxy outside our local group will disappear beyond the cosmic horizon. They will be moving away so fast that their light will never reach us again. We will be left in a lonely, dark neighborhood. So if we aren't hitting the great attractor, what is our immediate destination then in that case? So in about 4.5 billion years, our own galaxy has a date with destiny. The Andromeda galaxy is currently heading straight for us at 110 kilometers per second, very high speed. This isn't a crash, it's a dance. The two galaxies will pass through each other, their stars rarely colliding because the space is so empty. Gravity will eventually pull them back together, merging them into a single massive elliptical galaxy dubbed as Milkomeda. By the time this happens, our sun will have become a red giant, likely swallowing the earth. The solar system as we know it will be done, but the atoms that made up our body will be part of the brand new giant star system. But where does the journey finally end? If the expansion continues forever, we reach the ultimate destination, the big freeze, also known as the heat death of the universe. As the space stretches, the gas needed to create stars become too thin. One by one, the light of the universe goes out. The stelliferous era ends, which is known for star formation, and therefore the stars will stop forming. And the degenerate era will begin. Only white dwarf, neutron stars, and black hole will remain. The black hole era will be the third one, when black holes eventually evaporate through Hawking radiation. So what is left? A universe at a uniform temperature of nearly absolute zero, no energy, no movement, no time. Everything that was once a planet, a person, or a galaxy will be reduced to thin mist of photons and electrons drifting in an infinite cold dark. It sounds bleak, but look at in another way. We are living in the golden age of the universe, a brief, brilliant window where the stars are close enough to see and the galaxies are close enough to touch. Everything is moving away, yes, but that makes the fact that we are here right now witnessing it, and all the more miraculous things are going to happen in the near future. We might not like where the universe is going, but we can only imagine what a view we have on the way there, right? So friends, thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring the edge of the cosmos, subscribe and join for the next journey. Until next time, before we wind up today's session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, the universe isn't just expanding, it is going somewhere. From the mysterious great attractor to the inevitable big freeze, where everything actually heading? That's a very big question that we want to address today. In this video, we trace the ultimate trajectory of every star, galaxy, and atom in existence. Have you ever wondered about the final destination of the cosmos while we go about our daily lives? Our Milky Way galaxy is screaming through space at 2.2 million kilometers per hour. But where it is going, what is pulling it? Let us discuss this further.
On a clear night, the universe looks like a photograph, frozen, eternal, But the truth is, we are living inside a cosmic stampede. Right now, you are sitting on a planet that is spinning at 1600 kilometers per hour. The planet is orbiting a star at 107,000 kilometers per hour. The star is dragging us around the center of the Milky Way at 800,000 kilometers per hour, but even the galaxy itself isn't sitting still. Our entire island universe is screaming through the void towards a destination we cannot see, and the overall speed at which we are moving right now is 2.2 million kilometers per hour. Everything, every star, every black hole, every atom is on a journey. But where is it actually going? Is there a finish line? Or is the universe just running away from itself? Today, we are tracing the ultimate trajectory of the cosmos from the great attractor to big freeze. We are looking at the final map of the existence itself. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand where we are going, we have to look at our neighborhood. We live in a Lanakia supercluster, a massive web of 100,000 galaxies spanning 500 million light years. For decades, the astronomer noticed something strange. The Milky Way and our neighboring galaxies aren't just drifting, they are being pulled. We are moving towards a specific region of space hidden behind the zone of avoidance, an area obscured by our own galaxy's dust, and therefore we actually cannot see clearly what is where we are going and what is pulling our galaxies. We call this mystery the Great Attractor. It's the gravitational anomaly so massive it is warping the movement of the galaxies across hundreds of millions of light years. It's like cosmic drain, and we are the water circling it. But here is the twist. We will likely never arrive at that point. Why? Because while gravity is trying to pull us together, something else is trying to rip us apart. In the late 1990s, we discovered the universe isn't just expanding, it is accelerating. This is thanks to the dark energy, a mysterious force that makes up roughly about 68% of the universe. Think of it like this. Gravity is the glue trying to hold the room together, but the dark energy is the floor constantly stretching in every direction. Because space is expanding faster than the speed of light at great distances, the great attractor is actually losing the tug of war. Eventually, the expansion will become so fast that even the pull of the Lanakia won't be enough to hold us into this particular group. We are entering an era of the great divorce. In few billion years, every galaxy outside our local group will disappear beyond the cosmic horizon. They will be moving away so fast that their light will never reach us again. We will be left in a lonely, dark neighborhood. So if we aren't hitting the great attractor, what is our immediate destination then in that case? So in about 4.5 billion years, our own galaxy has a date with destiny. The Andromeda galaxy is currently heading straight for us at 110 kilometers per second, very high speed. This isn't a crash, it's a dance. The two galaxies will pass through each other, their stars rarely colliding because the space is so empty. Gravity will eventually pull them back together, merging them into a single massive elliptical galaxy dubbed as Milkomeda. By the time this happens, our sun will have become a red giant, likely swallowing the Earth. The solar system as we know it will be done. But the atoms that made up our body will be part of the brand new giant star system. But where does the journey finally end? If the expansion continues forever, we reach the ultimate destination, the big freeze, also known as the heat death of the universe. As the space stretches, the gas needed to create stars become too thin. One by one, the light of the universe goes out. the stelliferous era ends, which is known for star formation, and therefore the stars will stop forming. And the degenerate era will begin. Only white dwarf, neutron stars, and black hole will remain. The black hole era will be the third one, when black holes eventually evaporate through Hawking radiation. So, what is left? A universe at a uniform temperature of nearly absolute zero, no energy, no movement, no time. Everything that was once a planet, a person, or a galaxy will be reduced to thin mist of photons and electrons drifting in an infinite cold dark. It sounds bleak, but look at in another way. We are living in the golden age of the universe, a brief, brilliant window where the stars are close enough to see and the galaxies are close enough to touch. Everything is moving away, yes, but that makes the fact that we are here right now witnessing it, and all the more miraculous things are going to happen in the near future. We might not like where the universe is going, but we can only imagine what a view we have on the way there, right? So friends, thanks for watching, and if you want to keep exploring the edge of the cosmos, subscribe and join for the next journey. Until next time, before we wind up today's session, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends and namaskaram. What really happened in 1857? Was it a Sepoy mutiny or the first spark of revolution that would change history forever? In this deep dive, we explore the explosive events of 1857 uprising and how India shook the British crown to its core. Let's go. History is rarely a straight line. Often it is defined by a single explosive movement, a spark that catches fire and consumes the status quo. For the British Empire, that movement arrived in 1857. To some, it was a Sepoy mutiny. To others, it was the first war of independence. But regardless of the label, one thing is certain. In 1857, the heartbeat of the British Empire was stuttered. Today, we are diving into the dramatic, bloody and world-changing event of 1857 uprising. How did a collection of disgruntled soldiers and local rulers manage to shake the most powerful empire on earth? Let's find out. To understand the explosion, we have to look at the pressure cooker that was India under the East India Company. By the mid 19th century, the British were no longer just traders, they were masters. They controlled the vast land through a mixture of treaties and outright annexation, and the doctrine of lapse, a policy that allowed the British to seize any princely state where the ruler died without a direct male heir. But it wasn't just the king and the queens who were angry. The common people were suffering under heavy taxation, and the soldiers, the sepoys, felt their dignity being systematically eroded. The British were dismissive of the local customs, and rumors began to circulate that the company was planning to forcefully convert the population to Christianity. The stage was set. All that was needed was a matchstick. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. That match arrived in the form of a rifle, the pattern 1853 Enfield. The new cartridge for this rifle was rumored to be greased with a mixture of cow and pig fat. Think about the implications. For Hindus soldiers, the cow is sacred. For Muslim soldiers, the pig is forbidden. To use these cartridges, a soldier had to bite off the end of the paper casing, effectively forcing them to consume materials that violate their most sacred religious beliefs. In January 1857, the outrage began to boil over. It wasn't just about religion, it was manifestation of the deep-seated humiliation. In March, a young soldier named Mangal Pandey refused to use the cartridge and attacked his British officer. His execution turned him into a martyr, and within a week, the spark in one garrison became a wildfire across North India. The rebellion officially ignited in Meerut on May 10, 1857. Soldiers marched on Delhi, the former seat of Mughal Empire, and declared the aging Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. The uprising was not a single coordinated military campaign. It was a massive decentralized eruption. In cities like Lucknow, Kanpur and Jhansi, the rebellion took different forms. In Jhansi, the Rani Lakshmi Bai became an icon of defiance, leading her troops against the British with unmatched courage. For the British, the situation was dire. They were quite spread thinly, caught off guard, and for a few months they were genuinely terrified that they would be driven out of the subcontinent entirely. The invincible British administration was scrambling for its dear life. The British reaction was swift and brutal. They poured reinforcement into India and launched a series of counter-offensives that were as ruthless as the rebellion had been chaotic. The siege, massacre, and the betrayal defined the final stages of the conflict. By 1858, the rebellion was effectively crushed. But the victory came at a massive cost. The British realized they could no longer govern India through a private company. The East India Company was dissolved and control was transferred directly to the British Crown. The British Raj had begun and the political landscape of India was permanently altered. So, did this uprising fail? If you look at the immediate military outcome, yes, definitely. The British remained in control for another 90 years. But if you look at the soul of the nation, it was the greatest victory imaginable. 1857 was the moment Indians across different regions, religions, and social classes realized they could challenge the imperial giants. It planted the seed of nationalism that would eventually lead the way to freedom movement of the 20th century, which is the largest freedom movement. Finally, we got the independence in 1947. When we look back at the event of 1857, we aren't just looking at a battle. We are looking at the moment India stood up, shook the chains of colonial rule, and began the long journey towards reclaiming its destiny. So friends, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think 1857 was inevitable? Let me know, and I will see you again very soon in the next one.
Hello everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to say a huge heartfelt thank you for all the wonderful birthday messages, calls and thoughtful wishes I received. Honestly, reading and hearing from so many of you made my day truly special. It's often said that birthdays are just another day, but when you receive that outpouring of affection, it's a powerful reminder of the incredible network of people who care about you. It really does make a difference. Thank you for making my day so special and making me feel so celebrated. And that brings me to why I think the simple act of wishing someone well is so important. Whether it's for their birthday or any other occasion, a wish isn't just words. It's a small intentional moment of connection. It tells someone, I'm thinking of you and I value you. In our busy lives, these little gestures of kindness and recognitions are vital. They strengthen our bond, lift our spirits, and remind us that we weren't alone. So let's keep the momentum going. Let us continue to be generous with our appreciation and well wishes, not just for me, but for everyone. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart.
Bold new roadmap reshapes Indian classroom with a skill-based learning, multilingual literacy, and technology-driven education, preparing students not just for marks but for life. Education in India is entering a new chapter. The Central Board of Secondary Education has announced a sweeping curriculum revamp that will take effect from 2026. And it promises to reshape the way millions of students experience learning. For decades, Indian school system had been criticized for its heavy reliance on rote memorizations, exam pressures, and limited focus on skills. This roadmap is CBSE's attempt to break away from the mold and align classroom with the vision of National Education Policy 2020. At the heart of the revamp is a shift towards skill-based learning. Instead of simply reproducing textbook answers, students will be encouraged to think critically, solve problems creatively, and collaborate with the peers. The idea is to prepare them not just for exam, but for the life beyond school, whether in higher education, the workplace, or society at large. Teachers will be expected to integrate projects, presentations, and real-world case studies into their lessons, making learning more engaging and practical. One of the most debated actually changes in is the three language rule. Under the new framework, students will study three languages up to class 10, with at least one being an Indian language. Supporters argue that this will strengthen cultural roots, multilingual literacy, while the critics worry that it may add stress to students already juggling with multiple subjects. The policy reflects CBSE's attempt to balance global competitiveness with a national identity. So if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. So going forward, another major reform in the reduction of content load. The syllabus will be streamlined to focus on core concept, cutting down an excessive detail that often overwhelmed students. And this will free up time for experimentations, experiential learning activities in the lab and the field projects and creative exploration. So alongside this CBSE plan to integrate technology and digital tools into classroom. So adapted learning platform, AI assist resources, and online practical module will become the part of everyday teaching, ensuring students are comfortable with the digital world they will inherit. Assessment will also undergo a transformation. The traditional high-stake exam model will give way to continuous competency-based evaluation. Marks will be no longer hinged solely on the 3-hour test. Instead, projects, practical, and presentation will carry a greater weight. And this change is expected to reduce exam stress and provide a more accurate picture of students' ability. The impact of this reform will be felt across the ecosystem. Students will find their education more engaging and less mechanical. Teachers, however, will face little challenge of adopting the new method, mastering the digital tools, and rethinking how they evaluate performance. And parents too will need to adjust their expectation, as success will no longer be measured by exam scores but by skill and competencies. Of course, challenges remains. Like training teachers across India's vast and diverse school network is no small task. Ensuring rural schools have access to digital infrastructure will require significant investment, and the 3-language rule may face resistance from families who fear it add unnecessary burden. Yet, despite these hurdles, the roadmap signals a bold step towards modernizing Indian education. So, what do you think about this? We have come to the end of this live stream, and thanks for watching. I would request you to like and subscribe our channel, and see you in the next one. But before we close this live streaming, a few words about our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the heart of San Francisco, Luna AI dared to reimagine shaping with $100,000 gamble on AI managed retail store. Sleek algorithm promised efficiency, but the grand experiment hit a very human snag, that is staffing, and that exposed the limit of automation. What was meant to be a glimpse of the future quickly became a cautionary tale of tech colliding with reality. In San Francisco, the promise of an AI-managed retail future took center stage when Luna AI unveiled its flagship store with $100,000 investment. The concept was bold. A retail space with the artificial intelligence would streamline operations, enhance customer experience, and reduce the reliance on traditional management structure. The launch drew attention from both tech enthusiasts and retail analysts, and they were eager to see how the automation could reshape the brick and mortar commerce. Yet, despite the futuristic vision, the store quickly encountered a very human problem. staffing issues. While AI managed inventory, analytics, and customer flow prediction, and day-to-day realities of staffing proved harder to automate. Scheduling conflicts, employee turnover, and the need for human oversight exposed the limitation of purely AI-driven model. The irony was striking. A store designed to minimize the human dependency found itself struggling precisely to become of it. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will determine the reach of our channel. So, just put some comments about your city also. So now we were talking about the store and the Luna AI experiment underscores a broader tension in the model in the modern retain, and technology can optimize the process, but it cannot fully replace the adaptability, empathy, and the problem solving skill of human staff. For investors and entrepreneurs, the lesson is clear. The innovation must balance automation with human capital. So, Luna AI is a venture may have stumbled, but it has sparked a vital conversation about the future of retail, where the AI and people coexist rather than compete. So, Luna AI store shows that even in the world run by algorithm, retail still need human touch. So Luna AI experiment in San Francisco was more than just a store. It was a test of how far automation can carry retail into future. Yet the staffing struggles revealed a truth that technology alone cannot erase the human presence and remains, and it also tells us that humans interventions, human presence remains the backbone of customer experience. The venture may have flattered, but it is but it leaves behind a valuable lesson, that the future of retail will not only to AI versus people, but AI working alongside with people. So we have come to the end. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe our channel. But before we go, we have a few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, a very big question that we want to address today is, are we alone or are we just being watched? For decades, we have scanned the stars for signals, but new speculation from SETI and leading astrophysicists suggest a chilling possibility. It is already too late to hide. While we search for them, humanity has spent the last century broadcasting our presence to the cosmos. In this video, we dive deep into the great silence and why the latest breakthrough in Techno-signatures and planetary direction suggest that any advanced civilizations within 100 light years likely to already know Earth is a home to an industrial civilization. Let us explore this further.
Hello, friends, welcome and namaskaram. In the era of endless data saturation, 24 by 7 market analysis, and constant forecasting, the most dangerous trap for modern CEO is the noise. Are you making decision based on reality, or are you operating within a loop of the past assumption and the future anxiety? In this video, we decode timeless principle from Bhagavad Gita that serves as a masterclass in strategic clarity. We explore how to break free from the forecast of the illusion, the collective confusion that clouds executive judgment, and reclaim the ability to see the market as it truly is. Let's go. Imagine your average Tuesday morning. You walk into your office or open your laptop at home, and the flood begins. Slack notification, earning reports, market forecasts from analysts who have never run a business, opinions from stakeholders, the anxiety of what your competitors might be doing next week. We are living in an era of unprecedented data saturation. As a CEO, you are trained to listen. You are told to keep your ears to the ground, to listen to the market, and gather intelligence. But what happens when the intelligence you gather is actually blocking your vision? What if the very act of listening to the noise is exactly what preventing you from seeing the reality of your business? Today, we are going to explore a radical ancient principle that directly addresses the modern executive trap. It comes from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 52, and it offers a solution to the most common leadership struggle of our time, the struggle between reacting to the noise and acting with a true clarity. We are going to learn why, as a leader, you must stop listening to the chorus of illusion and start seeing the objective truth. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now, let's continue with our discussion. The verse we are focusing on is simply very simple, few words, yet very profound. And the quote starts: emerging from the forest of illusion, the intelligence becomes detached from what has been heard and what will be heard. Quote close. Let's break down for the boardroom. The forest of illusion isn't a magical place. It's your daily operational environment. It's the echo chamber of industry experts. It's the fear mongering of the financial news. It is the what we have always done culture within your company. The words highlight two specific dangerous traps. First, what has been heard. This is your history. It's your past success that you're trying to replicate, or your past failures that you're terrified of repeating. It is a legacy data. When you lead based on solely what you have heard, you are living in the past. What will be heard is a second one. This is the speculation. It's what if scenario. The AI hype cycles, the fear of future competition. When you lead based on this, you are living in an anxiety. So, when you are trapped in this forest, your intelligence, your strategic foresight is compromised. You aren't seeing the business, you are seeing the hallucination of your own biases and external noise. So, friends, what does detachment actually means here? Does it mean you stop reading reports? Does it mean you fire your strategic, the team responsible for strategic outcome? Absolutely not. In business, detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means intellectual sovereignty. It means you receive the information, you acknowledge the report, you hear the opinion, but you do not let it become your reality. Think of it like a seasoned ship captain in a storm. The captain hears the wind, they see the waves, they understand the data from the radar, they are aware of all of it, but They do not become the storm themselves. They don't panic because the wind is loud. They maintain their grip on the wheel, focused on the horizon and the true destination. Most CEOs are currently letting the wind steer the ship. They are reacting to every gust of market volatility. The goal of this Gita inspired leadership is to stop letting the noise determine your trajectory. How do you actually transition from listening to seeing? And here are three-step framework which I would like to offer to you. Step one, the noise filter, and it's an audit. Once a week, look at your data point you consume. Ask yourself, is this objective reality, or is this someone's interpretation of reality? A financial report is data. A market sentiment analysis is an opinion. Separate the two. If you can't act on it directly, it is noise. Minimize your exposure to it. Step number two, the what if quarantine. When you find yourself spiraling about what will be heard, the future fears, write them down. Then move them to a quarantine folder. Do not address them until your monthly strategic review is done. When you look at them later, you will be surprised at how many of those urgent fear have evaporated. You are detaching from the future anxiety to focus on the present execution. Step number three, assessing the observer's self. This is the most critical part. When a crisis hit, force a 10-second pause. Physically, step back from your screen. Ask yourself, if I were a consultant looking at this form of from the outside with no emotional stake in the past or the future, what would I see? That is your intelligence. That is your clarity. That is the strategic vision you are paid to provide. So, why does this matter? Because in a world of hype, clarity is the ultimate competitive advantage. Everyone else is reacting, everyone else is chasing the same trends, reading the same newsletter, and getting scared by the same headlines. When you detach, when you move out of the forest, you see the opportunity that others are literally too loud to hear. You stop competing on the noise. You start competing on the substance. You become the CEO who doesn't get rattled by a market drip. You become the leader whose team feels calm because your direction is based on objective truth, not temporary emotion. This isn't just mindfulness, this is the high performance business strategy. It is a practice of being immovable in the center of the hurricane. The verse from chapter 2, verse 52 is a call to maturity. It's a time to stop looking for answers in the noise. The answers isn't in another market report. The answer is in your ability to clarify your own vision. So, friends, I challenge you this week. Identify one noise source in your life, a meeting, a report, a channel that contributes more to your anxiety than your insight. Cut it out, create the space, step out of the forest, start seeing the reality of your business. So, friends, if you found this perspective helpful, share this with other leaders who need to hear it. And for more deep dives into the intersection of ancient wisdom and the modern strategy, make sure you subscribe our channel. I'm CK, and I will see you very soon in the next one, my friends. Hello, friends. I'm sure you might have seen the SpaceX launch news a couple of days back. But did you know that the SpaceX just launched its most powerful Starship mega rocket yet? And therefore, today we are going to discuss this historic flight test, which culminated in a spectacular fiery splashdown in the Indian Ocean. Did the Starship pass its ultimate test, or was it a catastrophic failure? In this video, we break down the entire mission from the mind-blowing liftoff powered by 33 Raptor engines to the intense atmospheric re-entry plasma that pushed the spacecraft to its limits. Let's go. What are you looking isn't a catastrophic failure. It is the exact moment the largest, most powerful rocket ever built by humanity slammed into Indian Ocean and erupted into spectacular ball of fire. But here is a crazy part. Inside the SpaceX mission control, people weren't, crying. They were actually roaring with delight. Elon Musk immediately took the X to declare it, an epic milestone, telling his team, "You scored a goal for humanity." So, friends, welcome back, and all the space fans. SpaceX has officially launched flight number 12 of its massive Starship rocket system. But this wasn't just any test. This was highly anticipated debut of the Starship version 3 V3, or a souped up version of the same Starship. Heavily redesigned mega rocket designed to completely dwarf its predecessors. It carried a real payload, pushed its engine to absolute breaking point, and ended with a blinding plasma fueled inferno over the ocean. Was this a roaring success that put us closer to the Mars, or a multi-million-dollar glitch fest? Let's break down exactly what happened during the Starship wildest flight yet. So friends, if you have reached this far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. To understand why this flight was such a big deal, we have to look at the hardware. Up until recently, SpaceX was flying its older space skimming prototypes. But Flight 12 introduced the world to the third generation Starship V3. When fully stacked on the brand new which is Pad 2 at the Starbase, Texas, this monster stands at mind-boggling 407 feet tall. That's over 124 meters. It eclipses the older models and pack even more, much more engine and bigger thrust. SpaceX essentially re-engineered the whole vehicle. They swapped out the old steering fins for fewer but much bigger and stronger grid fins to steer the booster home. They overhauled the computer power and added more cameras and built a massive internal fuel transfer line to feed the ravenous thirst of its 33 Raptor engines. To give you an idea of the scale, that fuel line alone is the size of an entire Falcon 9 rocket booster. The stakes of this launch could not have been higher. Just 2 days prior, Elon Musk shocked the financial world by announcing plans to take SpaceX public, what could be the largest IPO in history. After the technical glitch with the hydraulic pin or the launch tower scrubbed, which is during the Thursday's attempt, engineers worked overnight on Friday, which is May 22nd, 2026. The countdown ticked to zero. At 5:30 p.m. local Texas time, the night sky lit up as the super heavy booster roared to life, unleashing a staggering 16 million pound of thrust. And liftoff from South Texas was clean, stable, and absolutely beautiful. But the space is hard, and the anomalies didn't wait long to show up. As the rocket soared past hypersonic speed, things began to get sweaty in the mission control. Starship upper stage relies on its Raptor engine to achieve its precise orbital trajectory. But during the initial burn, one of the main engine malfunctioned and cut out early. Because of this engine failure, Starships didn't quite make to its intended textbook orbit. SpaceX spokesperson Don Huot put it bluntly during the live stream, and the quote starts, "I wouldn't call it a nominal orbital insertion. However, the Starship onboard computers are smart. Remaining engine compensated, keeping the trajectory well within the bounds of the safety limits. The ship was flying hurt, but it was still flying." Then came the most visually stunning moment of the launch, which is hot stagging. At the fringes of the space upper stage, Starship ignited its engine while still attached to the booster. Blinding torrent of plasma blasted through its nozzles, and the two vehicles cleanly broke apart. So there was a ring in between, which, because of this high pressure of plasma, the vehicle basically became broke into two. With the ship's safety on its way, all eyes turned to Super Heavy booster. Now, SpaceX wasn't planning to catch the booster with giant mechanical chopsticks, which is the arm on this flight. They were aiming for a precision controlled landing burn over Gulf of Mexico. But the booster was angry. As it plunged back through the atmosphere, the multiple engine failed to reignite for the planned boost back burn. Deprived of its braking power, the multi-million-dollar booster fell entirely out of control and exploded mid-air before obliterating itself in the Gulf of Mexico. A total loss of booster, but the main event was still orbiting 120 miles above our head. While its booster was at the bottom of the Gulf, the Starship V3 was coasting partways around the world on a near global journey. And for the first time, it had a real job to do. Starship successfully opened its payload door, deployed 20 mock Starlink satellites into the vacuum of space. Even cooler, SpaceX deployed two specialized camera-equipped mini probes to float alongside the Starship, filming its thermal heat shield to see how it would handle the terrifying heat of re-entry. An hour after launch, Starship began its descent over the Indian Ocean, just off the coast of Western Australia. This is where the magic and the fire happens. Plunging belly first at 25 times the speed of sound, spacecraft was engulfed in a punishing envelope of superheated plasma. Amazingly, despite the earlier engine failure, the Starship executed a complex flip maneuver, keeping itself upright and under seemingly full control. As it neared the water, it fired its landing engines, plummeted upright into the sea, toppled over, and instantly erupted into massive wall of fire and heavy smoke. It was quite violent, fiery, and it was also an incredible machine. So let's address the elephant in the room now. If the booster blew up in the air and the ship exploded in the ocean, why is everyone calling this a win? Because in the aerospace development, hardware is meant to be pushed until it breaks. SpaceX never intended to recover either stage on this flight. The goal was data. They successfully tested the V3 upgrades, survived the hot stagging, and deployed the payload and successfully guided a bleeding damaged spacecraft to a precise ocean splashdown under controlled environment. NASA is currently paying SpaceX billions of dollars to turn this exact rocket into lunar lander for upcoming Artemis mission. So racing against Jeff Bezos, which is the blue region, and China's to put boots on the moon. Flight 12 proved that even when things go wrong, Starship's core architecture is incredibly robust. Every fiery explosion gets SpaceX closer to fully reusable rocket that will change space travel forever. So friends, what do you think of Starship V3 fiery debut? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe for more breaking space updates,
and I will see you again in the next one. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Well, $60 billion, that's more than the entire valuation of many Fortune 500 companies, right? It's twice what NASA gets in a year, and it is the price tag of a single option. Elon Musk just secured, for SpaceX. Yesterday, the world of aerospace and AI collided. SpaceX officially announced a strategic partnership with Cursor, the AI coding startup that has taken the developer world by storm. But this isn't just a partnership. SpaceX now holds the exclusive right to buy Cursor for $60 billion by the end of 2026. Why would a rocket company, one that just merged with XAI and is targeting a 1.75 trillion IPO, drop that kind of cash on a code editor? Is it just about helping engineers write faster apps, or is this the missing link that finally makes the city on Mars a reality? Today we are deconstructing the SpaceX Cursor deal, the colossal supercomputer, and why the road to the red planet is now paved with billions of lines of AI generated code. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed with our analysis. If you aren't a developer, you might not realize how big Cursor has become. It's a fork of the VS Code, but it has been rebuilt from the ground up with AI at its core. It pioneered what enthusiasts call the vibe coding, the ability to describe a complex feature in plain English and watch the AI architect the entire file structure, logic, and test in seconds. And therefore, we need to consider this statistics. ARR, over 2 billion today, projected to hit 6 billion by year end. And what is the reach? Used by over 50% of the Fortune 500 company. And what is the most important thing? It is not just a chatbot. It is a tool that understands your entire code base. SpaceX isn't just buying a tool. They are buying the distribution channel to the world's best engineers. But there is a catch. SpaceX has two choices: pay 10 billion for a joint development partnership, or pay $60 billion for the whole thing. It's a try before you buy deal at a galactical scale. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the hardware. Back in the February 2026, SpaceX merged with XAI. In that merger, SpaceX inherited Colossus, the world's most powerful AI training cluster running on roughly 1 million NVIDIA H100 equivalents. Before this deal, Cursor was a bottlenecked
by the computer, by the computing power. They were using model from OpenAI and Anthropic, but now Cursor is moving into the SpaceX family. They get direct access to Colossus. Imagine taking the world's most intuitive coding interface and plug-in it to the world's largest supercomputer. We are talking about training a personal super intelligent specifically for engineering. This isn't about building another Grok for Twitter. It's about building an AI that can design a Raptor engine, simulate orbital mechanics, and debug the flight software of a starship in real time. Elon Musk has often said that the hardest part of Starship isn't that rocket, it is the machine that built the machine. To put a million people on Mars by 2050, you need thousands of starships. You need autonomous propellant plants on Martian surface. You need life support system that never fails. The software complexity required to manage a multi-planetary logistics chain is mind-boggling. Currently, writing that software takes thousands of human engineers and millions of man-hours. But with Cursor integrated into SpaceX stacks, accelerated prototyping will be a reality. AI can generate ground control software for the 2028 lunar mission in a fraction of time. It can also achieve autonomous debugging. On a 6-month journey to Mars, you can't wait for a patch from Earth. The ship's AI need to find a fix on its own and also debug the whole software. Next, it is going to create a stairway to Mars. This acquisition suggests that SpaceX is pivoting from being a launch provider to vertical tech stack. Their own internet, which is Starlink, their own AI, which is XAI. Now it could be Cursor also, and the transport, which is the Starship. Let's talk about money. This deal comes just as SpaceX prepare for its rumored 2026 IPO. Analysts are targeting a listing valuation of 1.75 trillion. By securing Cursor, SpaceX is signaling to Wall Street that they aren't just a transportation company, they are deep tech, combination of various companies. If they can prove that their AI integrated engineering can cut the cost of reaching Mars by 90%, a 60 billion acquisition start to look like a bargain. However, not everyone is convinced. Critics point to the Anthropic shock earlier this year that wiped billions of IT giants. They ask if this a visionary move or is it another overvaluation in a red hot AI market. Whether SpaceX Cursor buys the Cursor for $60 billion or stay in a $10 billion partnership, one thing is clear. The future of space exploration is no longer just about fuel and physics. It's about intelligence. If Starship is the body that takes us to stars, the AI acquisition is the brain. We are watching the birth of the company that controls the physical and the digital infrastructure of the next century. So friends, what do you think? Is $60 billion fair price for the key to the red planet, or is the AI bubble reaching escape velocity? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into technology shaping our future. I'm CK and I will see you again in the next one. Before I go, I like to say a few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, we have a very profound and very deep question to address today, and that is there a part of you that survives beyond the physical world or physical realm? In this video, we dive deep into the profound wisdom offered by Bhagavad Gita and to explore the intersection of ancient Vedic philosophy and the modern conceptual science. While our bodies changes from infancy to old age, our sense of I remains constant. We explore why the Gita defines Brahman as the supreme, the indestructible entity, and how this transcendental energy operates outside the laws of decay. Let's go. Friends, every 7 years, virtually every cell in our body, in your body, my body, get replaced. Your skin, your blood, even the lining on the stomach, it's all new. And if you look at the photo of yourself from 10 years ago, you are looking at a collection of atoms that are the most part no longer belonging to you. And yet you feel like the same person. When you say, I am hungry or I am tired, who is this I? Who is this I talking? Is it the meat suit that made of carbon and water, or is it the driver inside? Today we are going to explore one of the most profound scientific and the spiritual intersection in history. We are looking at the Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 3 to answer the ultimate question, that is, why are you not your body? So friends, if you have reached this far, please let us know from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. In the middle of the literal and the metaphorical battlefield, the warrior Arjun asks about the nature of existence. Bhagwan Krishna responds with a verse that serves as a theory of everything for the souls. And the verse says, the quote starts, Brahman is the supreme, indestructible and transcendental living entity. The material nature of living entity is called Atma, and karma is the fruitive action that result in the material body of a living being. Quote close. Let's break this down like a scientist would, right? Let's look at the word Brahman, which is in other words is supreme entity. In physics, we talk about the laws of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Bhagavad Gita calls this Brahman. It is the fundamental stuff of the universe, which is indestructible, and also this is an indestructible observer. Number 2 is the nature of self, which is Atma or your soul. This is your software. It is the inherent nature of the living entity that remains constant even when the hardware, which is your body, changes. Number 3 is the karma, which is the mechanism. This is the kinetic force. It is the action that bridges the gap between the spiritual and the material world. And if you are not your body, then what are you? In science, we often struggle with the hard problem of consciousness. We can map the brain, we can see the neurons firing, but we cannot find you in the gray matter.
Think of your body like a mobile phone. The phone has a screen, a battery, and a circuit, but the signal, which is the data, the internet, the voice of on the other side, other end, doesn't live inside the wires. If you smash the phone, the signal doesn't die. It simply has no medium to manifest through. You're getting this point? I hope you're. Now, the Gita explains that Brahman is that the signal. It is a transcendental, meaning it exists on a frequency higher than the physical world. While the body is subject to entropy, which I hope you know is the second law of thermodynamics, where everything moves towards a disorder. The soul is described as the imperishable. It's a constant. Nothing can touch it. It is the only thing in the universe that doesn't rust or get destroyed. The verse says karma. Karma is the fruitive action that results in the material body. This is the revolutionary way to look at the biology. Usually we think our DNA is the sole architect of our lives, but Gita suggests a deeper layer. Karma is the work or the energy we generate through our desires and actions. Think of it as a cloud server. Your actions are thoughts, and your Atma, which is your nature, are uploaded to the cosmic cloud. When your current device, which is your body, wears out, the data that karma determines the specifications of your next device, basically. So based on karma, you will get into a new body. I think this is common sense, right? So because of the theory of reincarnation. Now, it suggests that the life isn't a random accident of chemistry. It is a precise energy-driven transition. If you aren't a body having a spiritual experience, you are a spiritual energy field currently wearing a biological suit to interact with the physical world. Now, in chapter 8, there are later explains that this consciousness has the power to travel because it is not bound by the weight of the matter. It is actually non-local also. In quantum physics, we see entanglement where particle affects each other across the vast distances instantly. The Gita suggests that your consciousness is the ultimate quantum particle. At the moment of death, the indestructible living entity carries its predetermined positions and its data to its next destination as easily as the wind carries a scent from its source. So this isn't just an ancient sermon or mysticism. It is a description of high energy state of being. You are an eternal entity currently localized in a physical point in time, but your nature, which is Atma, is limitless. So why does this matter? When you realize you are not your body, the fear of the end vanishes. You stop being the broken screen and start identifying as an indestructible signal. As chapter 8 and verse 3 remind us, you are the Brahman, you are the supreme, you are the transcendental, and you are indestructible. The body is just a story your karma is currently telling you. So walk through the world today knowing that you aren't the container, you're the light inside it. Well, I would like to know your opinion, and thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If this deep dive into Gita and science resonate with you, hit the subscribe button and share this with someone who needs to remember their eternal nature, and I look forward to receiving your messages as well. Before I part ways, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. and these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy, comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Friends, we all know that the stars, when they run out of their fuel, explodes into a supernova, especially the kind of star which are much larger than sun. They have to be larger than sun in order to become a supernova. However, there are certain stars which don't simply explode. They turn into a hot blowtorch. And this is a very specific phenomena. And to understand this type of supernova, we will take a deep dive into high energy astrophysics, and we will examine this phenomena which is known as hotter than hell, also known in scientific term as the fast blue optical transient, and also known as the blue death. What is this phenomena? Let us explore this further.
A new eye is about to open upon the universe. An eye so wide it will sweep the heavens like no telescope before. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is not just about any other machine. It is a cartographer of the cosmos poised to chart 1 lakh unseen world and the rogue wanderers that drift starless through the dark. With mirror that rivals Hubble and the field of view 100 times greater, Roman will transform the night sky into a living atlas. Each planet a pin of possibility, each rogue world a story untold. This is not merely a science, it is exploration on the scale that redefines imagination. Romans gaze still stitch together galaxies, measure the invisible hand of dark energies, and reveal that universe is not sparse but teeming, restless, alive. And its sweep, humanity will find not only few planets, but new questions, new frontiers, and perhaps new homes. So let's find out more. The Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is poised to become one of the NASA's most ambitious instruments, a sentinel designed to widen humanity's cosmic horizon. Unlike telescopes that focus narrowly on a distinct galaxies or nearby stars, Roman's mission is panoramic and to sweep the sky with unprecedented breadth and cataloging world that drift untethered planets and orbit sun far beyond our reach. This is a wide view which allows astronomers to detect up to 1 lakh new planets, a staggering expansion of known cosmic sensors. Among these will be rogue world, planets that wander the galaxies without a parent star, drifting like celestial nomads through the dark. Each discovery will not only add to the tally of the world, but also deepens the mystery of planetary formation, migration, and survival in the vastness of space. Roman's design is marriage of precision and scale. Equipped with a 2.4 meter mirror comparable to Hubble's, but paired with the advanced detector, it can capture image covering areas of sky 100 times larger than Hubble's field of view. This means the entire star field, galactical cluster, and planetary nurseries will be revealed in a detailed and offering astronomer a tapestry of cosmic evolution. Beyond planet, Roman will probe the dark energies that accelerate the universe expansion, map our understanding of cosmic history. Yet, its planetary catalogue may prove the most transformative, a reminder that the universe is not sparse but teeming with the world, each potential stage of chemistry, climate, and perhaps even life. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. That will help us to determine the reach of our channel. Now, let's continue with our discussion. In essence, the Nancy Grace Roman telescope is not just a machine, it is a promise that night sky hold far more than we have yet imagined, and that with each sweep of its gaze, humanity will step closer to answering the timeless question. What is that? Are we alone? Or are we one among countless travelers in universe of the world? So Roman is more than a machine, it is a storyteller of cosmos. Each discovery will be verse in the grand narratives of creation, migration, and survival, that again reminding us that the universe is not a silent void but a living expanse teeming with the with world. So its mission is both scientific and poetic. To measure the invisible force of dark energy, to map galaxies like constellations of history, and to show us that the night sky is richer than our imagination dares. As Roman prepare to open its gaze, it carries with it the hope that somewhere among these countless worlds lies the answer of our most enduring question. So, in a sweep of Romans' vision, the universe will no longer be a distant mystery, but a vast, untold atlas of world. Each one a reminder that the cosmos is alive, infinite, and waiting to be known. So, we have come to the end of this live streaming on this interesting topic. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सबका स्वागत है। और आज बुधवार का दिन है। आज का दिन गणेश भगवान के लिए समर्पित होता है, आप सबको पता है इस बारे में। तो हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे भगवान की पूजा करके। तो गणेश जी का मंत्र उच्चारण करेंगे और हर रोज की तरह हम इस काउंटर का इस्तेमाल करेंगे। आपको पता ही है काउंटर, इसमें नंबर्स, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक नंबर्स आ जाते हैं, तो ये हमें काफ़ी सहायता करता है अपने गिनती करने में। लेकिन आप किसी भी तरीके से जो आपको कंफर्टेबल हो, आप माला का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं और अपनी उंगलियों पे भी गिन सकते हैं, क्योंकि सिर्फ 11 बारी करना है, तो आराम से आप जैसे भी करना चाहें कर सकते हैं। तो चलिए हाथ जोड़ के हम भगवान का ध्यान करते हैं और एक छोटा सा मंत्र 11 दफ़ा हम उसका उच्चारण करेंगे। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। ओम गम गणपते नमः। 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 ओम गण गणपते नमः। ओम गम गणपते नमः। ओम गम गणपते नमः। ओम गम गणपते नमः। ओम गण गणपते नमः। तो हमारा भगवान की स्तुति आप समाप्त हुई। हमारा आज का जो हम दिन शुरू करना चाहते हैं वो हम अच्छी तरह स्टार्ट करें, यही हमारी प्रार्थना है। आपका भी दिन अच्छी तरह बीते, इस कामना के साथ हम इस वीडियो को बंद करते हैं। जल्दी ही मिलते हैं दूसरे वीडियो में, कहीं मत जाइएगा।
नमस्कारम दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। और आज है जून 8 और आज तो सोमवार है। सभी को पता है कि सोमवार का दिन भगवान शिव के लिए समर्पित है। तो आज हम अपना दिन शुरू करेंगे भगवान की स्तुति करके, प्रार्थना करके, और हर रोज की तरह हम एक मंत्र का उच्चारण 11 दफा करेंगे। बहुत ही सिंपल सा मंत्र है, इससे भगवान शंकर बहुत खुश होते हैं और आपको काफी सहायता मिलती है अपने रुके हुए कामों को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए। तो हम ये काउंटर का इस्तेमाल करेंगे जैसे कि हर रोज करते हैं। 11 दफा महामृत्युंजय का जाप करेंगे। तो आप सब मेरे साथ जुड़ें और हाथ जोड़ के नमन करें, भगवान शंकर का ध्यान लगाएं और महामृत्युंजय का जाप हम शुरू करते हैं। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम त्र्यंबकम यजामहे सुगंधिम पुष्टिवर्धनम उर्वाकरुक्मिव बंधनान् मृत्युर्मोक्षीयमामृतात् संज्ञो जातं प्रपागमि भगवन्त मृत्युम जय शिवम अवयामि। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। तो दोस्तों, आज हमारा जो भगवान की पूजा है या स्तुति है हमारी समाप्त होती है। अब हम अपना दिन शुरू कर सकते हैं। आप भी अपना दिन शुरू करें और आपका दिन मंगलमय हो। चलिए, थोड़ी देर में मिलता हूं दूसरे वीडियो में। नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज शनिवार का दिन है और आप सबको पता होगा कि जो शनिवार का दिन होता है वो कर्म के स्वामी शनि जी को समर्पित होता है। तो आज हम अपना दिन शुरू करने से पहले हम भगवान की स्तुति करेंगे, भगवान शनि महाराज की हम वंदना करेंगे। और आप जैसे जानते हैं कि एक छोटा सा मंत्र हम पढ़ेंगे, इसको 11 दफा करेंगे। और 11 दफा करने के लिए आप हमारे साथ जुड़ें और हम इस काउंटर का इस्तेमाल करते हैं हमेशा की तरह। आप जैसा मर्जी आप गिन सकते हैं, आप माला का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, आप अपने मन में भी गिन सकते हैं, लेकिन 11 दफा करें। अपना दिन शुरू करने से पहले आज शनिवार को, हर शनिवार को आप शनि जी का ध्यान करें। चलिए हाथ जोड़ के नमन करते हैं और उनकी आराधना हम शुरू करते हैं। ओम शन शनश्चरे नमः। 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 ओम शन शनश्चर्य 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 नमः। तो दोस्तों 11 दफा हमने आज भगवान शनि महाराज जो कर्म के देवता होते हैं, आपके लाभ और आपके जो ट्रेजेक्टरी है उसके स्वामी शनि होते हैं। तो हमेशा अपना काम शुरू करने से पहले स्पेशली शनिवार के दिन भगवान की जरूर प्रार्थना कर लें। तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। आपका दिन शुभ हो। तब तक के लिए मैं आपसे इजाजत लेता हूं। अगले ही वीडियो में जल्दी ही मिलता हूं, कहीं मत जाएगा। नमस्कार।
What if the universe grand finale isn't millions of years away, but lurking closer than we dare to imagine? Quantum physics, with its razor sharp recalculation, is rewriting the cosmic script, hinting that the end of the everything may arise sooner than our star lit dreams allow. In this dance of particles and probabilities, the cosmos itself trembles and reminding us that the existence is not eternal but executively fragile. So let's find out more about this. For centuries, humanity has gazed into the night sky, wondering not only how the universe began, but how it might end. Now, theories have ranged from eternal expansion to a cyclic rebirth, and each shaped by mathematics of cosmology and the evolving lens of physics. Now, recent recalculation in quantum physics have unsettled this cosmic narrative, suggesting that the universe is ultimate fate may arrive far sooner than once imagined. Now, at the heart of this revelation lies the delicate interplay between quantum mechanics and cosmology. Traditional model relied heavily on Einstein's general relativity, which described the large-scale structure of space-time and moving forward, yet that this theory also says that relatively alone cannot account for the strange and probability behavior of particles at the smallest scale. The quantum physics, with its uncertainty in the principle and the wave function, has begun to rewrite the script by applying this quantum correction to cosmological equation. The researchers have found that the lifeline of universal decay, and whether through heat, death, vacuum collapse, or a big rip, may be dramatically shortened. Now, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine our reach of the channel. So, moving forward. So, one recalculation actually focus on quantum vacuum, the seeing energy field that underpin the reality. While once thought to be stable, new models suggest that it may harbor the instabilities that could trigger a catastrophic phase transition. Now imagine space-time itself suddenly reconfiguring the like ice melting into the water, but on the cosmic scale, such an event would actually ripple outward and at the speed of light, rewriting the law of physics and its spread. The unsettling implication is that the universe apparent calm may mask a tricking quantum clock. So another line of inquiry actually examined dark energy, the mysterious force driving cosmic expansion. Quantum actually refinement is actually its behavioral hint, and that definitely gives few clues of expansion may accelerate to the destructive extremes. So galaxies, stars, planets, even the atom could eventually be torn apart in a big rip. What was once projected trillions of years into future now appears closer, and perhaps within a fraction of that time scale. So the recalculation do not pinpoint on an exact date, but they shift the horizon from comfortably abstract to hauntingly convincible. So for humanities, these findings are both humbling and inspiring. On one hand, they remind us that our fragility, suspended into universe and whose rules are still being deciphered. On the other hand, they underscore the power of science to illuminate mysteries and once thought unknowable. Now, when we talk about quantum physics with its paradox and probabilities, it is not merely a tool for particle accelerator. It is a key to understand the existence itself. So, philosophically, the shortened timeline actually forces us to confront the questions of this meaning. And if the universe is finite and its end nearer than expected, what does that imply for human behavior, human hard work, and human endurance? Some argue that it heightens the urgency of exploration and compelling us to seek new worlds and new knowledge while the time remains. The other see is as a call to cherish the present and to recognize the fleeting beauty of existence and against the backdrop of cosmic impairments or kind of deletion of the existence. Now, in the end, the recalculation do not spell say, or it doesn't give a kind of an impression of doom. So much so they also expand the perspectives in all the scenarios. The universe may be more fragile, more dynamic, and more unpredictable. But we imagine, that's what we imagine, and yet within that uncertainty lies wonder. So you will also agree in this concept. To live at the moment with the quantum physics reshapes our understanding of cosmos and is to stand at the edge of revelation. And the stars above are not merely distinct light, they are the markers of stories whose ending may be closer but earlier as we thought. But this meaning is also ours to write and rewrite our future ahead. So the cosmos whisper of sobering truth and the and may be actually distinct abstraction, but the horizon inches closer with each quantum click and each quantum tick which is happening, yet within this fragile countdown lies a greatest gift, the chance to marvel, to discover, and to create meaning in the fleeting brilliance of existence. The universe may be finite, but wonder is infinite, and so is a human spirit to explore more, and it is our to carry until the very last of star fades. That's what the exploration, the zeal of living ahead, or finding more finite and or infinite brilliances and in life and in cosmos ahead. So we have come to the end of this video, and thanks for watching. We look forward for your comments on this topic, and please like and subscribe our channel. We'll see you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Let me ask you, is time really a one-way street? The new research suggests that Einstein's famous wormhole theory might hold the key to the mind-bending possibility of a hidden mirror of time. And friends, as you know, mirror always casts an inverted image. In this video, we break down the latest theoretical physics breakthrough that is challenging everything we know about the arrow of time, entropy, and the fabric of space-time. Could wormhole act as a portal to a mirror reality where time flows in the reverse direction? We dive into the science behind the headlines and explain what this discovery means for the future of quantum mechanics and cosmology. Let's go. What if everything we know about time is backward? We have been told that the time flows in only one direction, from past into the present and towards an inevitable future. It's the arrow of time. But what if that arrow isn't just pointing forward? What if it is also pointing back in the backward direction? And the key to understand that secret lies in one of the most famous yet misunderstood concept in physics, which is the Einstein-Rosen bridge. When we hear about the word wormhole, we think of interstellar. We think of space traveler jumping across galaxies in seconds. But here is the first breakthrough in our understanding today, and that is not what Einstein and Rosen intended. Friends, before we move forward, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. In the year 1935, Albert Einstein and his colleague Nathan Rosen weren't trying to build a space travel portal, they were struggling with the math of gravity and quantum fields. They created a bridge, a mathematical connection between the two identical symmetrical sheets of space time. It wasn't a tunnel for a spaceship, it was a theoretical tool meant to reconcile how matter behaves in extreme gravity. Fast forward to 2026, a massive shift in how we interpret those equations have just emerged. Instead of physical tunnel through space, researchers are proposing that the Einstein-Rosen bridge is actually a quantum link between two opposite directions of time. Think of it like a mirror. If you stand in front of a mirror, you will see yourself, right? Now imagine that the mirror doesn't just reflect your image, it reflects your flow. In this new theoretical model, our universe is paired with a mirror, a component where time flows in the exact opposite direction. The bridge isn't the shortcut across the galaxy, it is a fundamental connection that allows quantum systems to remain balanced, consistent, and crucially irreversible. So, what does this matter? Why this matters now? Because of the black hole information paradox. For decades, physicists have been terrified that if the information falls into the black hole, it is lost forever. They violate and the violent laws of quantum mechanics, and therefore there could be only two situations. One is that everything is true, or the quantum mechanics and the laws of relativity works across all positions on in the space. But if this mirror time theory is correct, that information isn't destroyed, it simply evolves along the backward flowing time component. It's not gone, it's just living in the mirror. And this doesn't explain black holes, it might explain the very beginning of everything. Some researchers are now suggesting that our big bang wasn't the absolute beginning, it was more like a some sort of a restarting of something. It may have been a bounce, a transition from a contracting phase of previous universe, mirrored by this strange temporal connection. Even more mind-bending is the small relic black holes from this pre-bounce phase might still be hiding in our universe today, potentially explaining the mysteries of the dark matter. We aren't building time machines today, and we are not going to be traveling through space tunnels to another galaxy anytime soon. But we might have just discovered something deeper. That time isn't just a line, it is a tapestry woven together by forward and backward threads, holding in place by most beautiful mathematical bridge ever conceived. The universe isn't just expanding, it is reflecting, and we are finally starting to look into the mirror. So friends, what do you think about this new proposed idea to solve the biggest issues that we face in our physics today? I'd like to know from you. Please send in your comments. Before I close this live stream, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with two microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game, and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, how are you doing? We have a very profound question today that we want to address in this video. That is, can ancient wisdom solve the modern corporate burnout problem? In this video, we dive deep into the timeless wisdom of Bhagavad Gita to extract the powerful leadership lesson for today's CEOs and entrepreneurs. If you have ever felt overwhelmed by the darkness of the market volatility, ethical dilemmas, or the sheer weight of responsibility on your shoulder, this verse offers a blueprint for clarity and resilience. Let's go. The boardroom is often portrayed as the place of power and light, but every CEO knows the truth. There is a specific kind of darkness that lives over there. It isn't the absence of light, it is the presence of ambiguity. It is a fog of volatile market, the shadow of ethical compromise, and the blind spots that lead to companies' downfall. And we call it the corporate darkness. For thousands of years, leaders have looked for a torch to cut through this fog. Today, we find that the torch isn't, present in an unlikely place. It's 7,000-year-old Sanskrit verse mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 9. On the surface, it describes the divine, but for a leader, it describes the ultimate executive mindset. So, friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you're watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now let's proceed further. Let's look at the verse itself. The verse says, and the quote starts, the omniscient, the oldest, the controller, smaller than an atom, the sustainer of everything, the inconceivable, and as effulgent as the sun, driving away all darkness. And quote close. To a CEO, these aren't just theological adjectives. They are the 7 pillars of visionary leadership. Let's break down one by one. The verse called the divine, smaller than an atom, and simultaneously the sustainer of everything. In business, we call this macro-micro paradox. But the CEO fails because they lean too far one way. They are either big picture dreamer who miss the accounting fraud happening under their nose, or they are the micromanagers who stifle innovation because they can't see the horizon. Bhagavad Gita tells us that the true mastery is being able to see the atom, the tiny data point, the single customer complaint, the line of code while simultaneously sustaining the entire ecosystem of the brand. Driving out darkness starts with total visibility. You cannot lead what you cannot see, whether it is as small as an atom or as large as a global supply chain. The verse use a term which is inconceivable. In the C-suite, we often rely on predictive analytics. We want everything to be conceivable, measurable, and also certain. But the darkness of the market often comes from the black swan event, the things we don't see coming, right? Learning from Bhagavad Gita means accepting the inconceivable. A great CEO doesn't just plan for what they know. They build a culture resilient enough to handle what they don't know. This is the difference between a rigid company and an anti-fragile one. When you stop fearing the inconceivable, you take away its power to paralyze you. Finally, we reach the climax of the verse, a personality as effulgent as the sun. Driving away the darkness. What is the darkness in a company? It is the fear, where employees are too scared to tell the truth. It is where the departments hide information from each other. It is the ego where leaders need to be, right, outweighed the need to be successful. The affluent CEO is one who brings radical transparency. Just as the sun doesn't fight the dark, it simply arrives and the dark ceases to be. Dark just goes away. A leader who leads with the Gita's principles of light doesn't have to fix every problem manually. Their presence, their ethics, and their clarity create an environment where dark behavior simply cannot survive. When you are affluent, you provide the why for your company, and as a leader once said, who has who he who has why to live can bear almost anyhow. So how do we apply chapter 8 verse 9 starting tomorrow morning? Practice omniscience. Don't just look at the reports. Seek to understand the soul of your product. Be a sustainer. Remember that your role is to support your team, not just to support by themselves. Drive out shadows. If there is a part of your business you are avoiding looking at, and that is where the darkness is, shine your light there first. Leadership is not about just quarterly results. It's about being the oldest, the most grounded, the effulgent, and also most inspiring. Bhagavad Gita isn't just a book of philosophy. It's a manual for the highest form of management. Go forth, lead like sun, and drive out the darkness. Friends, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, any suggestion, any opinion, please do not hesitate to send it across in the comment section below. Before I part ways, I will have to speak few words about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, welcome to this executive lesson, and the big question that we have on our mind today which we want to address is, can detachment actually lead to better result in business? This is a very profound question, and that is why in today's high pressure corporate world, CEOs are often told that the end justifies the means. Alright, so there is nothing about detachment, but the ancient wisdom, which is Bhagavad Gita, talks about detachment all the time. They are saying that if you shift your focus from the result to your nishkam karm, basically undivided attention to your work, that will give you better result, and therefore this should be your strategy. And this will also take away your high pressure, whereas you are not focused about result, but you are actually focused about the work, which is the worship in this case. So friends, stick around, because this is going to be very interesting. It is going to be useful for people in the leadership position, also for anybody who want to implement, follow Bhagavad Gita. So friends, I will start the discussion now.
We live in an era of hyper result. Every quarter, every week, every minute is tracked. As a leader, you value often reduced to a single matrix, which is the bottom line. But here is the irony. The more we obsess over the finish line, more likely that we are, stumble before we get there. We are seeing record level of burnout, decision fatigue, and quite quitting at the executive level. What if I told you that 7,000 years ago, a text which was written or recited holds the secret to modern high performance? Today we are looking at the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 4. Why letting go is actually the most strategic move a CEO can make. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. In the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Krishna explains the state of yoga. Not the physical postures as we see today, but a state of perfect mental equilibrium and the union with one purpose. And the verse says, quote starts, a person is said to have attained yoga when they have no desire for sense gratification and not attached to the fruits of their action, and have renounced all material desires. Quote close. To a modern business mind, this sounds impossible. No desire for results, no attachment to fruits. In business, the fruits are the profit, the market share, the exit strategy, etc. etc. But let's look closer. Bhagwan Krishna isn't saying don't work. He's saying work without being enslaved by the outcome. What does the attachment to the result hurt a CEO? Well, the anxiety cloud your judgment. So when you are terrified of a bad quarter, your brain shifts into survival mode. You stop thinking long term and start making fear-based decisions. You can also generate tunnel vision. You become so focused on the goal that you miss the signals in the market. You stop innovating because you are too busy defending a specific outcome. You can also get into a hedonic treadmill. If your happiness depends on the result, you are never satisfied. You hit the target and you feel a spark of joy for 5 minutes and then immediately start stressing about the next quarter. This is the recipe of an executive burnout. So what does the attaining yoga looks like in a boardroom? It's what the modern psychologists call the flow state. When you renounce the desire for the fruits, you redirect all that wasted worry energy into a process. Imagine a CEO who walks into a merger negotiations, and if they are attached to the result, they are needy, nervous, and easily manipulated. But if they are focused only on performing their duty perfectly, presenting the facts, staying ethical, and listening deeply, they will remain untouchable. This is the result paradox. By not obsessing over the outcome, you actually increase the quality of your work, which mathematically makes a positive outcome more likely. So how do you apply Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse 4 tomorrow morning? Well, step 1. Define the effort, not just the goal. Instead of just setting a sales target, set a quality of interaction target. Measure how well you listened and how clearly you communicated and how much value you provided. Step number 2, practice strategic detachment. During high stake meetings, remind yourself, I have control over my actions, but I do not have control over the final response of others. This lowers your anxiety and raises your IQ. Step 3, audit your sense gratification. Are you making this move for the growth of the company, or are your own ego or sense gratification is driving this? Real leadership begins where the ego ends. So, chapter 6, verse 4 isn't about being passive, it's about being powerful, present. When you stop chasing the shadow of the result, you finally stand in the light of your own potential. You become a leader who is stable in success and resilient in failure. And that is the yoga Krishna speaks of. And it is the ultimate competitive advantage in the 21st century. Don't you think so? So next time you feel the pressure of the bottom line closing in, remember, focus on the work, let go of the fruits, and the result will take care of themselves. So friends, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to send it across. Thanks for watching. If this ancient perspective helped you today, share it with your colleagues who needed to hear it. And friends, I will see you in the next one. But before that, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Hello friends, welcome to the business section of Akulmach Live. We have all heard about the nuclear breakthrough India just reported. However, the big question today is India about to become the world's nuclear energy hub? Why we are saying this? Because recently Government of India did some changes, policy changes, and because of that, the world over, all the entrepreneurs, all the business investors are now eyeing towards investing in India's nuclear program, which is basically for energy generation. Why it is different? Because this is based on thorium and not on uranium, because uranium there is a lot of risk and people will say, okay, now if you are using uranium you may be having a plan for for some sort of nuclear weapon development. But here in this case thorium, and thorium is abundant in India. We don't have to basically buy uranium from other countries. Thorium is readily available in India, and the beauty here is that for thorium reactor you don't need to basically build very large reactor, and therefore India has decided to build these small reactors. And recently what we are discussing today is that the FDI has been allowed in these small reactors, and because of that lot of investors are now coming through the FDI route, trying to invest in these small thorium reactors. And they have also passed, the Indian government, Indian Parliament has also passed something called Shanti Act. Now for those who understand Hindi, Shanti basically means peace. So they have passed a Shanti Act, which is a metaphor for Peace Act, which allow investor to invest in the thorium program, which is now started by India. So friends, stick around in this video because we are going to discuss this in detail.
For decades, the Indian nuclear sector was a forbidden fortress. It was state-run, shielded from private players, and largely close to the global capital. But in 2025, everything changed. The Atomic Energy Commission, AEC, just cleared a policy that effectively ends the nuclear isolation era by allowing up to 49% foreign direct investment, also known as FDI, in small modular reactor, SMRs. India has fired, starting a pistol for a multi-billion-dollar race. Why now? Well, the world is hungry for carbon-free base load power, and India has world's most ambitious energy roadmap. We aren't just talking about a few power plants. We're talking about a $200 billion shift. Today, we are breaking down the global investor from the US, France, and Russia are suddenly lining up at the India's door. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's talk technology. Traditional nuclear plants are like massive cruise ships. They take 15 years to build and cost 10 billion or more. If one thing goes wrong, the whole project stalls. Small modular reactors, or the SMRs, are the speedboats and speedboats of the nuclear world. These are the reactors that produce between 77 megawatts and 300 megawatts of power. They are built in factories on the assembly lines and shipped to the site. India has introduced its own version, the Bharat Small Reactor, which is acronym for BSR. Why investors love them? They offer lower entry price. Instead of risking $10 billion, a private company can partner with the Nuclear Power Corporation of India to build a modular unit for a fraction of the cost. So it has speed of delivery. Definitely you can actually go from groundbreaking to grid connected in about 5 years. For an investor, faster construction means a faster return on investment. The real magic happened in the boardroom. The Indian government passed the Shanti Act of 2025. This wasn't just another law. It was a legal bridge. Before this, foreign companies were terrified of Indian civil liability laws. If there was an accident, the supplier could be sued into bankruptcy. The new policy provider, in fact, clears a framework for risk sharing between Indian state and the foreign investor. By allowing 49% FDI, India is saying we want your tech and we want your cash, but we will keep the keys to the security of the facility. Therefore, the balance of 51% will be state control and 49% will be private investment. And that is why this is a sweet spot. And that has a global giant like Holtec International, GE, Hitachi dusting off their blueprints for Indian soil. The investment isn't just about technology, it's about demand. Indian economy is booming, and definitely it's also growing by leaps and bounds. And the rest of the world can only dream of at that kind of speed India is moving forward. We are building gigafactories for EVs, massive data centers for AI, and huge green hydrogen hubs. All these things have one thing in common. India needs 24 by 7 power. Solar and wind are great, but they don't work when the sun goes down and the wind stops, right? So SMRs are being pitched as the captive power sources. Imagine massive steel plants in Odisha or a tech park in Bengaluru having its own dedicated SMR right next door. Investors see this industrial demand as the guaranteed revenue stream. It is not just selling power to the grid, it is powering the future of the global manufacturing. Now let's talk about the long game. India has the world's largest reserve of thorium, believe it or not. The traditional reactors runs on uranium, which India has to import. But thorium, we have enough of it in our beaches to power the country for centuries. And what is the catch here? There's always a catch, right? You cannot just put thorium in a standard reactor. You need a breeder process. So SMRs are perfect test bed for this. By inviting FDIs into SMRs, India is accelerating its three-stage nuclear program. The global investors provide capital today for uranium-based SMRs are essentially helping build the infrastructure that will eventually run on thorium. It's a transition that could make India the OPEC of the 22nd century. So why are the global investors eyeing India at this point in time? It is a perfect storm of the clear policy, which is based on FDI, proven demand, which is the industrial growth, and the futuristic tech, which is based on thorium. India's goal is to hit 100 gigawatt of nuclear power by 2047. It's a massive mountain to climb, but for the first time, India isn't climbing it alone. With global capital and private innovation now in the mix, the atomic age of India hasn't just arrived. It is actually going to get onto overdrive. So friends, what do you think? Is opening nuclear power to foreign investment is a master stroke for energy independence or a risky move? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech and policy that is shaping India's future. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you again in the next one. Before I leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
Welcome friends. Recently Artemis 2 has been a very successful trip to moon, created many landmarks, but one of the things that we can now imagine in future, not so far away but very near future, is the settlement, humanity settlement. But then how it will happen? There are so many challenges. One of the challenge is related to habitat, and therefore this company, a startup in USA, they are going to basically talk about the new type of habitat structure. They are going to convert the moon into a real habitable real estate, when the humans travel to moon and successfully land on the moon, etc. So the big question is the future on of humanity on the moon is inflatable. Remember this word inflatable, because this company, which is known as Max Space, they are actually talking about inflatable habitat which can reach moon and then can be inflated, and then they are readily available. No digging required, no construction, no 3D printing, none of those things. These are ready to build housing, and as soon as the astronaut arrive there, the houses will be ready. So this is a game changer, and this is very exciting. So in today's video we are going to discuss how this is going to happen, what are the roadblocks, what are the opportunities, and how this Max Space is changing the landscape, especially for the human settlement, not only on moon but in future outside in other worlds. So stick around friends, because this is going to be very, very interesting video.
Imagine you're moving into a new apartment, but there is a catch. You have to carry every single piece of furniture, the walls, the plumbing, and the oxygen system on your back while climbing a mountain. That is essentially the challenge of building a base on the moon. For decades, the dream of lunar colony has been held back by one brutal reality, which is the weight. In the space industry, mass is money. Every extra kilogram of steel or aluminum you send to lunar surface costs a fortune in rocket fuel. Because of this, most proposed moon bases have been small, cramped, and incredibly difficult to scale. But that's about to change now. A Florida-based startup called MaxSpace has just unveiled a design that sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, a pop-up habitat. They aren't just building rooms, they are building what they call the scalable real estate for the moon. And if they succeed, the era of flags and footprints is over and the era of lunar cities is going to begin. So friends, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Alright, let's proceed further. So why is the MaxSpace important? They recently emerged from the stealth with a bold claim. They can provide most habitable volume for the lowest launch mass in history. In April 2026, the company unveiled a subscale version of their expandable habitat, proving that this isn't just a digital render, it's a physical hardware. Led by the co-founder Salim Mia and Aaron Kemmer, MaxSpace is leveraging over 30 years of material science knowledge and what they call the practical readiness of the materials to solve the hardest problem in lunar exploration. The core idea is very simple. Instead of sending a rigid metal tube that is mostly empty space, you send a highly compressed, ultra strong fabric envelope. One of it hits the lunar surface, it pops up and expanding to 20 times its original stored volume. Think about that. One single SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, a workhorse of the modern space flight, could theoretically launch a fully equipped habitat with 350 cubic meters of volume. To put that in perspective, that's about a third of the entire habitable volume of the International Space Station, delivered in a single relatively cheap launch. Now, I know what you're thinking. Inflatable on the moon. Well, isn't that just a giant balloon waiting to pop? It's a very fair question. The lunar environment is a nightmare. Temperatures swing between 107 degrees in the sun to minus 153 in the shade. There is no atmosphere to stop micrometeorites, and radiation from solar flare can be lethal. But MaxSpace design isn't a balloon. It's an engineering marvel made of interwoven layer of advanced materials like Kevlar and specialized polymer bladders. Why this is actually better than metal? There are several reasons, starting with the debris protection. This is the first reason. Rigid metal hull can actually shatter or spall when hit by a high speed space dust. Expandable layer absorbs the disperse the impact energy much like a bulletproof vest. Second is the radiation shielding. Because these habitats are so large, once expanded, they can be outfitted with internal shieldings or even covered with lunar regolith, which is the moon soil or moon dirt, whatever you want to call it, and that will create a massive radiation proof bunker. Number 3 is the mass to volume ratio. In a rigid module, the walls have to be thick enough to handle launch vibration and internal pressures. With an expandable, the walls are optimized for the pressure of the space, making them lighter and stronger per square inch. The company calls this scalable real estate because it allows for a modular approach. You don't just build one room, you link them together. You can have a pop-up lab, a pop-up greenhouse, and pop-up sleeping quarters, all connected by a pressurized tunnel. This news couldn't come at a better time. We are currently in the middle of Artemis era. As of April 2026, Artemis 2 has successfully returned from its lunar flyby, marking the first humans to have seen the far side of moon with their own eyes since 1972. NASA is now laser focused on Artemis 4 and Artemis 5, which are targeted for 2028. Artemis 5 is going to be very interesting because it's specifically where the moon base phase begins. NASA recently announced they are moving away from the Lunar Gateway space station concept in favor of a permanent surface infrastructure. They want to stay on the surface of the moon. And this is where the Max Space and the Voyager Technologies partnership comes in reality and becomes more real. The company behind the Star Lab, in fact, the Voyager you may be knowing is the company behind this Star Lab space station, and has made a multi-million-dollar investment in Max Space to ensure this tech is ready for the Artemis mission. Now, what is the goal? By the late 2020s, instead of astronauts living out of their lander for a week, they will move into these Max Space habitat for months at a time. This tech turns a visit into a colony. So that is a very clear goal. What is the next step now? Max Space isn't going straight to the moon. First, they have to prove their system works in vacuum of Earth's orbit. Their first flight, known as the mission Evolution, is scheduled for 2027 as a ride share on a Falcon 9. This will be a smaller prototype to validate the deployment sequence and structural integrity. If that works, the sky, or rather the lunar South Pole, is the limit. They are already designing their Thunderbird station, a commercial outpost that could serve as a lunar hotel or a research hub. For 60 years, we have thought about space station, the moon bases as cold metallic cylinders, but the future of human life beyond Earth might be softer, lighter, and much, much bigger. Max Space is betting that the key to cosmos isn't building bigger rockets, but building smarter houses. If they are right, the first pop-up colony on the moon won't just be a scientific outpost. It will be the first real piece of lunar real estate in human history. Now, the question is, if you could book a room in a pop-up lunar hotel in 2030, would you go to moon? I will like to know your answer. So friends, thanks for watching. If you want to stay updated on the race to build the first moon base, hit that subscribe button and check out our other videos on Artemis program. Before I go, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video.
In the vast orchestra of human brain, not every instrument plays with equal resilience. Some neuron hum steadily through life's symphony, while other trembles at the faintest discord. The multiple sclerosis, long seen as a sweeping storm against the nervous system, is now revealed to the strike with a selective fury, targeting the most fragile player in this ensemble. New research uncovered that the certain brain cells stretched thin by their energy demand and delicate architectures are far more vulnerable to the disease relentless assault. And this discovery reframes MS as a uniform battle, but as a war fought on unseen terrain where the weakest link determine the fate of the whole. So let's find out more. Multiple sclerosis, MS, has been understood as a disease of the immune system gone awry, stripping away the protective myelin sheath that insulate the nerve fiber. Yet, despite the decades of research, one question has lingered. Why do certain regions of the brain and the spinal cord suffers more damage than the others? Recent findings have begun to illuminate this mystery, revealing that not all brain cells are equal in their vulnerability. Some neurons, by virtue of their structure, function, or metabolic demands, appear to be more immune to kind of destructive cascade of MS than others. The study in question used advanced imaging and molecular profiling to map the landscape of neuronal damage in MS patients. Researchers discovered that the specific populations of neurons, particularly those involved in long-range communication across the brain, showed heightened sensitivity to the inflammatory attacks. And these cells, often with the extended axon stretching across multiple brain regions, requires enormous amount of energy to maintain the signaling. When the inflammation disrupts their metabolic balance, they flatter more quickly than the shorter, more localized neuron. And this vulnerability may explain why MS patient often experience symptoms tied to coordination, vision, or cognitions, and the very function that rely on these long, energy hungry neutral pathways. So, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us to determine the reach of our channel. So, moving forward, another striking revelation was the role of oligodendrocytes, the cells responsible for producing myelin. Not all oligodendrocytes are created equal. Some subtypes appear more resilient, capable of remyelinating damaged axon, while the other succumb rapidly to the immune assault. The uneven distribution of these cell types across the brain may carry hotspot of vulnerability, regions where the damage accumulate faster and recover lag behind. So these cellular patchwork could amount for the unpredictable progression of MS. Where one patient experienced sudden vision loss while the other struggles with the motor control. The finding also highlight the importance of mitochondrial health. Neurons with weaker mitochondrial reserve and tiny powerhouses that fuel cellular activities were disproportionately affected. And in MS, inflammatory molecules can impair the mitochondrial functions, leading to energy shortage. For neurons already operating at the edge of their metabolic capacity, this shortage is catastrophic. And they lose the ability to transmit signals effectively or contributing to the neurological deficient that define the disease. So, from the therapeutic perspective, these insights are profound. If certain neurons and oligodendrocytes are more vulnerable, treatment could be tailored to protect or bolster them specifically. For instance, the drug that enhance mitochondrial resilience or promote the survival of the remyelinating oligodendrocytes might slow disease progression. Similarly, the therapies that reduce the inflammatory burden on the long-range neuron could preserve the critical functions like memory and the motor coordinations. The research suggests a shift from the broad immunosuppression towards the precision strategies that safeguard the brain's most fragile components. So beyond the lab, these implications ripple into the living or lived experience of MS patients. Understanding why certain patients or why certain symptoms emerge and persist offers validation for those whose struggles have seen more profound, more implicable diseases and the way they actually respond to the drugs. So it also opens opens the door to more personalized prognosis. The clinicians may one day predict which functions are most at risk in a given patient based on their cellular vulnerability profile. So, such a foresight could guide rehabilitation, lifestyle adjustments, and psychological support, making the journey with the MS less uncertain. The discovery that some brain cells are inherently more vulnerable reframes MS not just as an immune disorder, but as a condition of cellular fragility. It underscores the delicate balance that sustains brain function and how easily it can be tipped by inflammation. And in doing so, it brings hope that by identifying and protecting the brain's weak link, science may one day transform MS from a relentless disease into a manageable condition. So in the end, what these discoveries reveal is not just the fragility of certain neurons, but the resilience of science itself. By uncovering the weak link in the brain's vast network, researchers are charting a path towards precision therapies that protect the most vulnerable cells. And multiple sclerosis, once seen as a uniform storm, now emerged as a selective battle, one that can be fought with a sharper insight and targeted care. The story of MS is no longer only about the loss. It is about the possibility of safeguarding the brain's delicate symphony and ensuring that even its quickest note continue to play. So now we have come to the end of this discussion. Look forward for your comments on this subject. Thanks for watching, and feel free to put your questions regarding today's content. Please subscribe our channel and see you in the next one. But before we end, few words from our affiliate partner.
Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. Comes with tripod ready. Comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Stop! Before you hit the delete channel button or give up on your next upload, you need to watch this. Most creators quit YouTube exactly 3 feet from the gold. They see flat lines in their analytics and assume they are failing. But in reality, they are simply in a ghost phase, the period where the algorithm tests your consistency and your skills are being sharpened for the big break. In this video, we dive deep into the psychology of the content creation and why 0 views might actually be your biggest competitive advantage. How? Let us discuss this further. You are checking your phone again. It's been 3 hours since you uploaded your latest video and the one you spent all weekend editing. You have refreshed the studio app 10 times and the number hasn't budged. 4 views, 2 of which were probably you. The thought starts creeping in. Is this even worth it? You see other creators blowing up overnight and you feel like you are shouting into a void. You are ready already to quit, but before you hit that delete channel button, I need you to understand one thing. You aren't failing. You are actually in the most important phase of your journey. Most creators quit exactly 3 feet from the goal. Today I'm going to show you why nobody is watching is actually your secret weapon and why your biggest breakthrough is like hidden right behind the urge to give up. Let's dive in. But before, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in and in which language you are watching this video. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. I would also know who's watching and who's not. Alright, let's proceed further. Let's address the elephant in the room, which is the algorithm. We talk about it like it's a sentient being that hates us. It doesn't, but it's a system built on trust. When you are a new creator or you're trying to pivot, you enter what I call the ghost phase. Think about it. Why would YouTube push your content to millions of people if you are only person you can stay consistent for only 2 weeks? The algorithm is testing 2 things, your competence and your consistency. During this ghost phase, you have a massive advantage that no big creator has, which is freedom to fail. When nobody is watching, you can experiment, you can find your voice, you can mess up the lighting, and you can make terrible jokes without hundreds and thousands of people judging you. This is your training ground. You are not being ignored, you are being incubated. This is the concept from the book Atomic Habits, called the plateau of latent potential. We expect progress to be in a straight line up. We think if I put in X amount of work, I should see X amount of views. But the growth on YouTube is exponential, not linear. You spend months, maybe years, working in the valley of disappointment, and this is where you are putting in the work, but the result aren't showing yet. You are building the foundation. It's like bamboo tree. It grows underground for 5 years, developing a massive root system, and then it shoots up 80 feet in 6 weeks. So if you quit during the root building phase, the tree will never grow. Every video you make into a flop is actually a root. It's a data point. It's a lesson. It's one step closer to the 80-foot breakthrough. So why do most creators quit right before they win? It's because of the psychological phenomena called cognitive friction. The effort required to make a video feels much higher than the reward of 10 views. To survive this, you have to shift your win condition. If your win condition is to get 1000 views, you get 50, you feel like as if you have lost it. You feel defeated. But if your win condition is like getting 1% better at color grading, or write a more compelling hook, or you do that, you have won already, right? I mean, if you do all of these core competencies, regardless of the view counts, don't you think so? Winning on YouTube is a war of attrition. The pros aren't necessarily the most talented people on the platform. They are the one who refuse to go away. They stayed in the game long enough for the luck to find them. Because on YouTube, luck is just where the preparation meets the long enough timeline. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that you should keep doing exactly the same thing if it is not working. There is a difference between quitting and pivoting. If you have made 50 videos and they all have 0 views, don't quit YouTube. Change your strategy. Maybe your thumbnails are weak. Maybe your intros are too slow. Use the silence to audit yourself. When nobody is watching, you have the lowest stakes possible to reinvent yourself. Don't you think so? So ask yourself, am I making content for me, or am I making content that solves a problem or provide value for someone else? Once you align your passion with audience's need, the nobody watching problems start to disappear. The hardest part of YouTube isn't the editing or the SEO. It is the mental game. It is showing up on Tuesday morning to film a video when your last 3 uploads tanked. But remember this, every major creator you admire today, from Mr. Beast to MKBHD, had a period where they were talking, making videos, but generating 0 interest, 0 views. They felt exactly how you feel right now. The only difference between them and millions of abandoned channels is that they decided to post one more time. Your breakout video is already in your head. It's coming. It's going to come, definitely. But you can't find it cannot find you if you weren't there to upload it, right? So don't quit. Just get 1% better today. So friends, what do you think? If you have any question or if you want to know more, please leave a comment below, and I will see you again in the next one. Before I take your leave, a word about our affiliate partner. Stop settling for a good enough video. If your built-in laptop camera looks like a grainy mess, it is time for an upgrade. Want to instantly level up your video presence? I like to present the Lenovo Performance FHD webcam. This is a game changer for your desktop setup. Technically, this is packed. It has a very sensitive RGB sensor, very crisp photographs it takes. Also comes with 2 microphones on board, which helps you to record very clear voice in stereophonic format. And these microphones are very sensitive. You can actually move away from the camera up to 2 meters, and these microphones will pick up your voice without any problem. This is a very strong piece. This is very sturdy. comes with tripod ready, comes with a very long leash, so it gives you a lot of flexibility to place the webcam wherever you want to keep in your studio. And also it has a swivel base, which is also very handy. So if you want to basically level up your game and you want to pick up this camera at a discount, please click on the link here or scan the QR code. Now let's get back to our video. Hello friends, Namaskaram. There is a massive news from New Delhi. The 16th India-Japan Annual Summit has officially concluded, making a historic turning point for the global diplomacy and the economy. With a staggering $68 billion, which is equal to 10 trillion yen, investment pledge over the next decade, India and Japan are redefining their partnership. In this video, we break down everything you need to know about this landmark pact and what it means for the future of both nations. From cutting edge defense, co development to the next generation of AI, energy, security, we analyze how this massive infusion of capital and the 120 plus new business agreement will reshape the global landscape. Let's go. In the rapidly shifting landscape of global economic, the certain moments stand out not just as headlines but as turning point that defines the next decade of the industry. We have just witnessed one of those moments, one of the most important moments. And monumental commitment has been made, a staggering 10 trillion yen, that is approximately $68 billion in planned investment from Japan into India over the next 10 years. This isn't just a diplomatic handshake, this is massive systemic alignment of two of the world's most vital economies. Today, we are breaking down why the $68 billion pact is a game changer for supply chain, the tech sector, and the future of the global manufacturing. So, friends, before we move forward, if you have reached this far, please inform us from which city you have tuned in. This will help us determine the reach of our channel. Now, let's continue. So, the big question is why now? To understand the weight of this investment, we have to look at the economic security. That is a roadmap that both nations recently finalized. In an era of geopolitical uncertainty, supply chain resilience has become the ultimate currency. Both nations recognize that depending on a single source of for a critical technology is no longer viable strategy. By deepening this partnership, they are building a China plus one ecosystem, positioning India as a primary destination for Japanese capital and technological expertise. We aren't talking about simple trade anymore. We are talking about the shared sovereignty over future tech. From semiconductors to quantum computing and critical minerals, this pact is designed to ensure that if a global trade flows, if any disruption happens in the flow, these two partners have the technological and industrial autonomy to keep their industries moving. So, where does the $68 billion actually go? The roadmap is incredibly specific and span four major pillars. Number one is semiconductor and deep tech. The most critical battleground for the 21st century is the semiconductor. We are seeing a massive collaboration between top tier electronics firms and domestic manufacturers in India. We are also talking about the front end fabrications, OSAT, which is outsourced semiconductor assembly and test plants, and specialized semiconductor material production. This is about creating a self sustaining silicon ecosystem, not just assembly. Second, the green energy transition. The energy security is central to this deal. The roadmap includes an ambitious biogas initiative to set up 1,000 plants across the country, but it goes further. Green ammonia, green methanol, and major investment in batteries and renewable grid infrastructure. Number three, the next generation mobility and infrastructure. We have been tracking the bullet train corridor for years now, but this impact accelerates the development of smart cities, high speed logistics. It's about modernizing ports and rails to ensure that when a product is made in India, it can reach global market faster than ever before. And number 4 is the artificial intelligence and the quantum computing, perhaps the most forward looking part of the pact. Both sides have signed agreement on AI, combining Japanese precision manufacturing capabilities with India's massive scale of software and the digital talent. For the business community watching this message is very clear. The red tape is disappearing. India allows 100% FDI through the automatic route in most sectors, meaning Japanese firm can maintain full ownership and control of their Indian subsidiaries. There is also a dedicated Japan Plus desk at Invest India, specifically designed to fast track these massive projects. The industry isn't just reacting to policy, they are voting with their capital. We have seen over 100 new business agreements signed in the past year alone. This is an initiative for Japanese companies to scale and for Indian firms to integrate into global high value supply chain. And of course, no deal of this magnitude comes without a hurdle. Implementation is where the real work happens. Logistics, regulatory harmonization, and the culture integration between workforce are the next frontier. However, the trend is undeniable. India Japan partnership is no longer just about trade volumes, it is about technological convergence. When you combine a workforce that is young and tech savvy with one of the most advanced industrial innovation engines in the world, the output is greater than the sum of its part. This $68 billion pact is effectively the foundation of the golden phase of this partnership. Whether you are an investor, a tech professional, or a student, the bridge between these two nations is widening and the opportunities are growing by the day. We will keep tracking these development here on this channel. But I would like to ask you, what sector do you think will see the biggest disruption from this investment? Let me know in the comments below. I'm CK and I will see you very soon in the next one.